Ready to discover new music? Midwest Music Fest is heading back to La Crosse at 6 indoor venues, all located right downtown on November 3rd and 4th. With over 60 bands, you're sure to discover new music you'll love. Tickets are on sale now at MidwestMusicFest.org. Prevention is the key to a healthy life. That's why Gunderson Health encourages you to learn about vaccines and how they can help you and your loved ones stay healthy. Vaccines protect against preventable diseases and viruses by boosting your body's defenses. Visit GundersonHealthFacts.com to learn more. We had the opportunity to connect with Chris Rosenau of the Collections of Colonies of Bees, who will be performing at the upcoming Midwest Music Fest in La Crosse. Our conversation covers Chris's early music interests, influences, the band's various iterations, including new vocalists and a dive into their exciting live show at the Weber Center. You can find more conversations at lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is La Crosse Local.
And you can't believe it's true. 40 years or more, and still there's nothing new. So you wait, and 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 you wait. And you can't believe it's true.
My name's Chris Rosenau. I am the guitar player and I guess founding member in the band Collections of Colonies of Bees. I've been playing guitar for a long time. I kind of got into it in my teens when I was supposed to be playing and practicing saxophone, and then just really learned most of Metallica Ride the Lightning. Kind of it from there, and then like pretty varied and diverse musical journey here landed me where I am today.
So like what was playing in your household? I mean, the Metallica influence, but was there stuff blasting all the time or?
Not stuff blasting all the time. Neither of my parents are super musical. I mean, like Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, kind of standard radio stuff. So I don't know. I really just latched on to some of that kind of early metal stuff. And that's what drove me to like learn how to play guitar. So I had my mom's like old nylon string guitar. The action was like an inch off the neck and it was impossible to play, but I just really loved trying to make the sounds that I was hearing on the record. And that was the encouragement that it took to get me kind of over the hump of building calluses and all of the nonsense that comes along with playing an instrument.
Going from that sort of those past influences to today, was there some sort of band or art that kind of progressed that in a sense? Because
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a long and winding road for sure. Definitely got into a lot of Chicago 90s instrumental bands and stuff like that. Tortoise, Gaster del Sol, Jim O'Rourke, David Grubbs. Got super deep into that. Had a lot of friends in Milwaukee and Chicago who were doing more experimental improvisation. Got into that for a long time. I've always liked metal. I've always liked kind of indie rock. I've liked singer-songwriter stuff. Older country stuff, not really kind of contemporary country. I guess I've kind of absorbed kind of bits of all of it as I've gone along here.
I kind of found out about you guys probably about 7 or so years ago. I kind of went down a rabbit hole of the band All Tiny Creatures, which I believe has some history with you.
For sure.
Kind of that similar sort of ambient electronic sort of sound. Do you have influences jazz too in some ways?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love all sorts of jazz, kind of more standard. I mean, everything. I also collect 78 records, so kind of big band and stuff like that, going through really kind of super kind of avant experimental stuff. I love all that stuff as well. Yeah, and Creatures, obviously. So Collections of Colonies of Bees shared a couple members, Andy Fitzpatrick, Tom Winsek, Matt Skemp, and Ben Derrickson were all in that band. And now currently Matt Skemp and Ben are in Bees. Tom was in Bees. You know, it's a whole, like the Milwaukee music scene and the surrounding areas is we all kind of play around together and try to support each other's music and sit in on projects and contribute as much as we can.
So what was that like initial sort of impetus for collection of Colonies of Bees?
Yeah, so Bees goes back a long way to the late 90s. I was in a band called Pele,
Okay.
which was an instrumental rock and roll band on Polyvinyl Records out of Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. And that was more, like I said, kind of instrumental, but still rock driven. I was kind of getting into like the Chicago experimental Gaster del Sol, Jim O'Rourke kind of stuff. Wanted to play around with a little bit more acoustic based, not as rock based stuff. So it really started as a reaction, or just I guess not a reaction, an outlet to just kind of stretch my legs in a different kind of place. And then it's gone through so many iterations over like literally probably, I don't know, whatever it is, 20, 25 years at this point. A lot of different iterations, a lot of different members, and kind of just landed kind of where it is super organically, depending on friends I'm playing with and stuff that I'm interested in at the time.
Looking back in the back catalog and also the previous band, given your kind of previous sort of emphasis on instrument and music, what inspired the shift, sort of the musical direction with adding voice on the most recent album?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's because Marielle Alschwang is one of our singers, and Dan Spack has been in the band for a long time, but never really kind of did a vocal role. They were both in a band called Group of the Altos from Milwaukee, 10 years back. Dan started singing, Mary sang in that band. And I don't know, we got done with the last record before Hawaii, which is the first one with Mary singing, and just kind of wanted another kind of sea change. I just felt like another shift was necessary. We had kind of explored a lot of what we were exploring at the time, which was whatever the third or fourth or fifth thing that we were exploring as this band. And Mary was down to clown and was really interested in actually some of the loop-based stuff that we are doing and kind of extending the idea that I use in the live performances and applying it to vocals, which was a really interesting idea to me, super interesting to her. We kind of threw her in to this kind of new instrument that she had to invent at the same time she was learning to sing these songs, and it just ended up being really super interesting to all of us, I think. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So we had a record come out on Polyvinyl again called Hawaii a couple of years ago. And so we are almost done recording the new record, same lineup, same idea, but, obviously, hopefully evolved a little bit, but with the same personnel right now.
With the Hawaii album, listening to that over the last couple of days, the singing element to it, though, it seems more of an instrument versus like traditional being like a vocalist in some sense.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like I've just constantly been trying to create pop records for like 30 years and just never ever succeed, which is apparently totally great. And apparently everyone that's kind of in my orbit, like trying to do the same thing, just never quite succeeds because yeah, I think it has to do with Mary's a great vocalist, Dan's a great vocalist, but they also really love the atmospheric nature and the challenge of kind of live looping and just kind of all of the improvisational aspects and kind of textural stuff that it can add. So yes, just kind of, we're still exploring all that stuff and are still pretty into it.
Pretty pumped. Midwest Music Fest is, just around the corner here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. What can people anticipate from your performance? And you also have some local lacrosse boys on the team too.
We do. Yeah. So our bass player, Matt Skemp, is local lacrosse, born and raised. His family still lives there. You mentioned All Tiny Creatures, Andy Fitzpatrick from that band, who's in Bon Iver now. Great friends of ours, also lacrosse guy. Yeah, and we're just psyched. We've been doing a bunch of kind of festival stuff over this past summer and had heard about Midwest Music Fest last year when a lot of our friends played it. Chris Porterfield from Field
Yep.
Report. I think Immortal Girlfriend played it. I think Haley Conway played it. We heard just some really good stuff. And so I was like, all right, like Chris, give me your contact and we're going to get in touch and try to figure this out. Love Lacrosse, have been up there a lot more recently. Just was really drawn to the whole festival. And I mean, a huge part of it was we just heard that it was really well run and well attended and just really fun. And like, that's what we're interested in. As far as a live show, man, I mean, we try to put on a rock show. I mean, we try to really kind of blow it out and, get people dancing here and there and kind of challenge people's kind of perception of some music here and there and just kind of give everybody everything. So I think it'll be really good. The set's been really well received by a bunch of different diverse crowds lately. We're doing a bunch of stuff off Hawaii and then a bunch of stuff that will be on the new record as well.
What I was really excited about, I just wanted to confirm with it, was the Weber Center. You guys playing at 7:15. The Weber Center is such a great venue traditionally for like theater and stuff like that, but still state of the art sound. So I'm really pumped with the new venues that are part of Midwest Music this year.
Yeah, it sounds great. Pumped too. And especially since you mentioned the sound system, like we do a lot of, all the vocals are kind of stereo panned and everything kind of bounces around a lot. So I'm looking for and hoping for like a really kind of submersive, encompassing kind of set. That's going to be our goal. And it sounds like the venue can definitely accommodate it and sounds like people are pretty into it. So we're psyched for sure.
For people that want to follow along or check out some music, what's the best place that you guys are active on? I know you got a Bandcamp and all the things, it seems like, but where are you most active?
If you Google Collections of Colonies of Bees, apologies for the mouthful, but that's just what it is. We're on Instagram and YouTube. We have some live videos on YouTube that kind of give you an idea of maybe what the live set will be. We've got some music videos to check out. We're obviously on Instagram and Bandcamp. You can listen and buy releases there as well.
Another question. Do you guys think you're going to tackle a Zarbles song?
Man, I'll tell you what, congratulations. That is the only time I've ever been asked that question, and I adore it. For people who don't know, Zarbles is a amazing hyper math prog rock that our bass player is in with a bunch of friends of ours. Amazing band. I've seen them probably 2 or 3 times. I think the set's never been longer than 20 minutes. They play probably 11, 12 songs in that amount of time, and they're totally amazing. So no, we will not be tackling that.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com. And you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.